sir. My name is Lawrence from CCAC, studying social work, and I'm here to interview you about religious aspect. And I know you're actually a Muslim, and there is an Islamic platform here too, so I'm here to ask you a few questions. I'd like to know your name, and we can take care of the questions, sir.
Yes, my name is Mohammed Rasul, and I'm a member here at our center and Noor Islamic Center. And I want to thank Brother Lawrence for giving me an opportunity to share some of my views on our way of life, al-Islam.
Thank you very much for giving me the chance as well to interview you. Well, I have a few questions over here that I laid down, and I'd like to ask you like this. What are the important holidays and tradition of your religion?
We have two holidays, Eid al-Fitr, which is the end of Ramadan. One of the pillars of our faith is every year we fast for 30 days during the daylight hours, from right before sunrise to sunset. We abstain from food, from drinks, and from intimate relationships with our spouses, our wives. And at the end of those 30 days, we celebrate having fulfilled our obligation to God in fulfilling that fast for 30 days. It's called Eid al-Fitr. And Fitr means returning back to our nature, our normal way of life, of doing things. So it's not normal to abstain in the middle of July or August, and it's 80 or 90 degrees for water and food and drinks in particular. But we do that to please God and to learn discipline and having a command over the appetites of our nature. And so that's one. The second one is a bigger one, at Eid al-Hajj, at the end of Hajj. And this is one of the requirements in our faith, one of the pillars. And that's normally known. This is where Muslims, believers from all over the world converge in a city in Saudi Arabia, Mecca, and that's where we fulfill the rites of Hajj. We go around. It's everyone probably seen it, but it's the Kaaba. It was the first house of worship that was set up on the planet Earth for the worship of God, and rebuilt by his son Abraham and Ishmael, alayhi salam. So we have Eid al-Fitr, the end of the fast, and the end of Ramadan, Eid al-Hajj, too.
So that means that's two holidays you have for a year, every year like that. Okay, that's nice. The second question is, how has your religion shaped your life?
I guess I could say it saved my life. Growing up here and born in America, and under the influences. A person is a product of the environment. And at the time I accepted to come back to Islam, I was smoking 5 packs of cigarettes a day. I was doing drugs. I was drinking alcohol, and Islam cleaned me up physically. I know if it wasn't for this religion, I wouldn't be here. Just from the cigarettes, I would have blew my lungs out. I've been gone long ago. And so it helped me clean my physical self, and it gave me the right spiritual food to God created everything in pairs. You have a physical self, and then you have your mental and your spiritual self, and both of them need nutrition. And to have a good, healthy diet for myself, Islam was it for my body and my soul.
That's nice. Well, the third question is, what are the challenges, if any? The third question is, what are the challenges, if any, to practice your religion?
The biggest struggle, you may hear the term jihad, and in its pure sense, jihad means to struggle against, but the struggle is a struggle within the individual believer to please God and to be obedient to God. So we're required to pray 5 times a day. And the first prayer is before sunrise. It's for the sunrise. So sometimes that's in the best part of your sleep. You slept all night, and you slept all night, and you're really sleeping good, and you have to get up and wash up, we call it wudu, and make prayer. And we say that's a struggle. And it's warm, you're all cuddled up in there, and it's in the winter, it's 10 degrees below zero. But Allah said, get up. You have to get up and make that prayer. And so that's a struggle. To avoid the temptations that you see in society, in America, we see the influence in America for everything that's promoted, that many things were not permitted. Alcohol, drinks, free sex, everything, anything goes in this environment. So the struggle is to maintain your focus in your obligation and being obedient to God. That's the biggest struggle, is to control, self-control, not no one else, but to control yourself and do what's pleasing to God, even if you don't want to do it, and you'll be successful.
And my fourth question is, how do you look at others who are outside of your religion? That means Islam.
Oh, I look at, I don't really get caught up in labels. I'm more concerned about human beings. When I look at other human beings, I just see other human beings, because many times we don't live up to our labels. If you get caught up in labels, you get one thing, it might say corn, you open up the can and it's peas or spaghetti. So I'm more concerned outside of my faith. I see everyone who is God conscious, who are trying their best with the knowledge they have to please their God and whatever their concept is. And God's more concerned about how do you treat your neighbor. And it could be your religious neighbor, your neighbor living next door. And he's more concerned about humanism and human suffering and making the world a better place for all human beings.
My fifth question is, do you have to take classes to belong to Islam?
Not really. It's like in any community. It has. When you buy a car, you get an owner's manual, or you buy a new TV, you get an owner's manual, and it tells you how to operate it, how to best operate it. And so for us as Muslims, our owner's manual is the Holy Quran. We feel it's the last revelation from God. For Christians, for our Christian brothers and sisters, it'd be the Bible. For our Jewish brothers and sisters, it'd be the Torah. And we follow that, and you read it. And if you want guidance, you can't find guidance unless you use that which there's to guide you. We all have GPS systems in our cars, and we have an application, a guidance, an app with apps on the smartphone. So if you don't know your way, then you got to plug in your guidance system. And for us as Muslims, we said it's no problem that it hasn't been addressed, that isn't addressed in our guidance system, the Holy Quran Sharif. And that's how you read that. There's no such thing as seniority in Islam. You know, God guides, He guides us all, and guides whom He pleases.
That's nice. Does your religion acknowledge marriages made out of the Islam?
Yes. In looking at the Quran, it says we're permitted to marriage anyone we call people of the book. In majority in our community, it's Muslims, as Jews and Christians, we refer to that community, and it's in our holy book, the Holy Quran. You can marry people of the book, and marry any God-conscious person who loves and will respect you. And now, if you marry an atheist, then you may have an issue. So, but majority of the people we come in contact with, everybody has a certain concept of the Creator, you know. And but yes, sure, it's fundamentally yes, you can marry people outside of your faith, and that happens all the time in cross-cultural relationships, because Allah said He did send His last messenger. From our point of view, Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, he's a mercy to the whole world, and the message we have is for all of humanity.
That's nice. Well, my seventh question is, how do you think Islam is different from other religions like Christianity, Jewish, Buddhism, and other religions altogether?
If you study, you really study the religions in comparative study, you see there's very similarities. And when God, all the messengers that come from God, they came with the same message. And we feel that Muhammad is the final messenger from God, and it's a completion. They're always working on a let's say a project in the house that was almost built except for one brick, and Muhammad was that brick, and Al Islam is that brick. But you see, you know, they say in Christianity, you may say one for your you know, faith without works is dead. You know. And it's no different in the Holy Quran saying you only get what you strive for. It says you want for your brother and sister what you want for yourself. The Bible said treat others as you would treat yourself. So if you study both of the books, all the books, you see they're very, very similar. We have more in common than we do not in common. And we could sit down with any spiritual people, you will find that most people who are God conscious, they're similar. You take the labels off and they just talk as human beings. We're all on the same page. I could sit here with the Dalai Lama, the Grand Mufti, the Grand Rabbi. We don't have no problem. We have no issues. Because we got human problems. And Satan don't care what our faith is. Yeah, Satan doesn't care what our faith is. He don't care. He's an enemy to all human beings. He don't care if you're a Jew, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, Sheikh, Sikh. He doesn't matter. He's the enemy to all human beings. And when we have a common enemy, we can unite on a common ground and have a common goal to make the earth a better place for all human beings.
My eighth question is, what goes on during a typical worship day? Like, what are the days that you do have like a big worship goes on, or something? What goes on those days?
Okay, our primary day of you could say of worship is Friday. It's called Jumu'ah, and it means coming together. And this is our primary day of worship for Muslims. We picked it. The Prophet ﷺ, he picked Friday because Sunday was the day for our Christian brothers and sisters. Saturday was the Sabbath for our Jewish brothers and sisters, and he picked Friday for us. And this is where all Muslims all over the world, we come together to worship and make prayer. And it's a very short thing. It's no more than an hour. And then we go back. Allah says, come to prayer. Leave off whatever you're doing. It's more important to come to worship God. Take that time out. And then go back out in the world and get your share of this material world and make it a better place.
Which values does Islam hold the highest?
The worship of one God. That's our highest pillar. In obedience to God. And we have 5 pillars. The highest pillar is the worship of God, and don't associate anything with the Creator. The Creator is not like anything that we can imagine. And we say, Allahu Akbar. And you hear that in the media, but it means that God is greater than anything that can come to your mind. And that's the highest pillar, you might say. Then we have prayer. It's another pillar. Then we have charity, being charitable. Then we have the fasting during Ramadan, and which I mentioned earlier. And the Hajj, which I mentioned earlier, is the pilgrimage. We're all required as Muslims to once in our lifetime, if we can afford it and healthy, to go to make Hajj, which was established by our patriarch Ibrahim, alayhi salam, and we make the pilgrimage to Mecca once in a lifetime if we can.
That's nice. Well, our final question is there anything Islam does not believe in, and why?
We don't believe in polytheism, and that there's more than one creator. We see there's creator, and we see creation, and they're not alike. It's almost like you look at a chair, it's nothing like the carpenter. It's a chair, and the carpenter created the chair, you see. So we don't see that man or human beings or anything that we can look and see and justify with our five senses are worthy of giving our worship to, except the creator of all of that. And the more you look into creation, the more you can just say God is greater than anything you look at. When we discover it, man creates nothing. Everything he just sees, and he goes and look, it's already there, looking back at him. In a big world of microcosm, they look out there with a telescope, and the Hubble telescope, they see God is creating universes and quasars and going on, it's expanding. And you look in the microscope, you see the germs, and they obeying a certain rule in a certain order. We didn't create that. When we look in there, it's there looking back at us. So who put it there? And we say Allahu Akbar.
That's nice. Thank you very much, Mr. Rasul. I really appreciate your time, and I'm very grateful for giving me the opportunity, for having you as a platform to be able to go through my religious interview with you. And I'm looking forward definitely to get back if I have more questions or if I do have more research to make. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Brother Lawrence. Thanks for having me, and I hope something I said would be beneficial to the class, and keep the good work up, and I wish you success and all the good that you do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.